As I walk through the park on my way home from work at night, I find solace in the tranquility that surrounds me. The dim streetlights cast long shadows on the ground, and the soft rustle of leaves in the gentle breeze creates a soothing melody. It's a routine I've come to embrace, finding comfort in the familiarity of the path that leads me home. But one night, as I was lost in my thoughts, my peaceful walk was abruptly interrupted by the ringing of my phone. I glanced at the screen to see an unknown number calling me. Curiosity got the better of me, and I hesitantly answered the call. "Hello?" I said, my voice laced with caution. A strange voice responded, "I see you walking through the park every night." Confused and slightly alarmed, I asked, "Who is this? How do you know me?" The caller ignored my questions and continued, "Look to your left." Feeling a chill run down my spine, I hesitated for a moment before glancing to my left. In the darkness, among the bushes, I caught a glimpse of a figure emerging, their features obscured by the shadows. My heart began to race as fear gripped me. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" I demanded, my voice shaking. The caller chuckled darkly before replying, "Oh, you'll find out soon enough." With that ominous message, the call ended, leaving me feeling vulnerable and exposed. The once familiar park now seemed like an entirely different place, filled with unseen eyes watching my every move. I quickened my pace, trying to shake off the unease that settled over me. But the sense of being watched lingered, and the darkness seemed to close in around me, suffocating and menacing. As I continued to walk, I couldn't shake the feeling that someone was following me. Every rustle of leaves, every whisper of the wind, sent shivers down my spine. I felt like a character in a horror movie, unable to escape the encroaching terror. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me, quickening in pace to match my own. Panic surged through my veins, and I mustered the courage to glance behind me. My heart leaped to my throat as I caught a glimpse of the same shadowy figure that I had seen in the bushes, now following me closely. Fear overwhelmed me, and I broke into a run, the pounding of my footsteps echoing in the desolate park. I knew I had to escape this nightmarish situation and get to the safety of my home. Finally, I reached the entrance of the park, gasping for breath and praying that the figure had given up the pursuit. But the chilling words of the unknown caller replayed in my mind, making me realize that this might not be over. From that night on, I avoided the park altogether, taking longer routes to ensure my safety. The fear of being watched and followed never truly left me, becoming a lingering presence in my daily life. It was an autumn evening, and Lisa decided to take a leisurely stroll on the tranquil trail nestled within the heart of the nearby park. The moon hung high in the night sky, casting an ethereal glow over the landscape. As she walked, she could hear the soft rustling of leaves and the occasional distant hoot of an owl. Lisa had always loved the peacefulness of the park during nighttime, but little did she know that her evening walk would turn into a living nightmare. As she ventured deeper into the shadows, the sounds of nature seemed to fade away, replaced by an eerie silence that sent shivers down her spine. Then, out of the darkness, came a faint sound, footsteps. At first, Lisa dismissed it, thinking it might be another park goer. But the footsteps persisted, and they were getting closer. Her heart began to race, and a feeling of unease washed over her like a cold wave. She picked up her pace, telling herself it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. But as she turned to glance over her shoulder, her worst fears were confirmed. A man, tall and looming, was following her at a distance, his face obscured by shadows, but his intent clear. Lisa's heart pounded in her chest as fear consumed her. She knew she had to do something and do it fast. Swallowing her fear, she decided to approach the nearest street lamp to see if the light would discourage the stranger from coming any closer. As she reached the pool of light, she chanced another glance back. Her heart sank as she saw the man still following, his pace quickening to match hers. Panic surged within her, and she knew she had to escape. Without a second thought, Lisa broke into a run. Her footsteps echoed through the otherwise silent park, but they were soon joined by the ominous sound of the man's footsteps growing louder and closer. She felt as though the darkness itself was closing in around her. Adrenaline surged through her veins, propelling her forward. She didn't dare look back again, fearing what she might see. Her breath came in ragged gasps, and her heart felt like it would burst from her chest. All she could think of was getting to safety. As she neared the park's exit, relief washed over her. But she didn't stop running until she was safely home, the door locked behind her. She immediately called me, her voice trembling as she recounted the horrifying ordeal. The next morning, Lisa and I decided to report the incident to the authorities. We wanted to ensure that no one else would experience the same terror in that once beloved park. The police were sympathetic and promised to increase patrols in the area. Months later, our town was shocked to learn that the man who had pursued Lisa was caught after attempting a similar incident with another woman. The news sent a chill down our spines, knowing that we had narrowly escaped a dangerous predator. Now, whenever I pass by that once inviting park, I can't help but feel a shiver run down my spine. The darkness that had once seemed mysterious and alluring now holds a deeper meaning. As a child, I vividly remember those carefree days spent with my friend Jake at our neighborhood park. The sun would begin its descent, casting a warm golden hue over the playground as we kicked the football around, laughing and creating lasting memories. But one evening, our innocent playtime took a chilling turn that left us trembling with fear. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, we noticed an unfamiliar car slowly making its way into the park. It came to a halt on the walking trail and the engine died with an eerie silence. The car's dark windows made it impossible to see who was inside. Curiosity mixed with apprehension as we watched the scene unfold. Suddenly, the car door opened and a man emerged, clad in a creepy outfit that sent shivers down my spine. His tall, slender figure and unkempt appearance added to the eerie atmosphere that seemed to envelop us. As the man took his first steps, the gravel beneath his feet echoed loudly in the otherwise tranquil park. His eyes seemed to glimmer with an unnatural intensity, making it clear that he was staring right at us. Discomfort quickly turned into fear as he started to approach us with deliberate steps. Jake and I exchanged nervous glances, sensing the danger lurking in the air. We instinctively knew that something was amiss, and our hearts pounded in our chests as adrenaline surged through our bodies. Without saying a word, we dropped the football and ran like the wind, the fear of the unknown propelling us forward. As we ran, we could hear the man's footsteps quickening, his eerie presence creeping closer and closer. Panic engulfed us, and our minds raced as we searched for a way to escape. The once familiar park now seemed like a maze of shadows and dangers lurking in every corner. Breathless and terrified, we found ourselves at the edge of the park, surrounded by the darkness of the approaching night. We knew we couldn't simply return home, fearing the man might follow us there. Instead, we made a split-second decision to seek refuge in a random person's backyard. We hid behind bushes, gasping for breath, our hearts pounding so loudly that we were afraid the man might hear. Fear paralyzed us, and we prayed that he would lose interest and disappear into the night. Time seemed to slow to a crawl as we waited, each second feeling like an eternity. Our bodies trembled uncontrollably as we clung to each other for comfort. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the sounds of footsteps faded, and the park became shrouded in silence. With bated breath, we emerged from our hiding spot and cautiously made our way back home. Fear still gripped our hearts, and the journey that was once familiar now felt like a treacherous path through a nightmare. As we reached the safety of our homes, we collapsed on our doorsteps, tears streaming down our faces. Our parents comforted us, but the chilling encounter haunted our thoughts for days, weeks, and even years to come.